I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's alive. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
It's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Green rolling. Your track, in your track. Check it up, check it up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us as we get ready for one of the coolest shows in racing here tonight. It is the Big Evil Designs Darlington duo, and well, let's get you ready to head on out to the racetrack here. And man, this one's going to be fun. I cannot wait. These kind of throwback races are the ones that absolutely tickle my fancy in a very big way. Joined in the booth tonight by Mr. Boomer Logan. Patrick Byrne is somewhere in Ohio, which is, well, kind of unfortunate. Only because I know I wouldn't want to be in Ohio. But Boomer, what's going on, buddy? Hopefully you're here, tuned up, ready to go. Throwback night is always fun, man.
I am very excited for tonight. Darlington is absolutely one of my favorite tracks in the sim and in real life, and we've got some really, really cool paint schemes. Lots of Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jr. throwbacks out there, but a bunch of cool paint schemes that have been put together tonight for Throwback Night. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm very excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. About 3 minutes left in practice, and Riley Thompson has just gone to the top of the speed charts with a lap time of 29.736 seconds. But let's pick up the guy who, quite frankly, everybody has been talking about all season long. And, well, there's picking up a Darlington stripe there, but no way to not talk about this guy. Thomas Bressie has been, quite frankly, unbelievable as we pull up the point standings here. 416 markers is what he's sitting on right now. Rob Ackley is 79 points back in second. Justin Morton, Brian Young, Mike Stroll rounding out your top five. And what the heck, let's pop up the timing ticker across the top here so you can see where your favorite is. Bressie has been quite frankly, just incredible this season in what he's been able to do. And we're coming to a racetrack that is a tough drive. Everybody has been complaining about how slick this place is. Are we expecting anything other than Thomas Bresci at the front of the field here tonight?
I mean, just the way he's been running, you have to expect him to be up there. But there's guys up there too. I mean, he gets a little loose off of turn 2 there. Definitely some guys in the field that have potential to challenge him tonight, I think. Obviously, Thomas, like we said, has been the class of the field all season long, but there have been guys up there like the 11 of Justin Morton, the 22 of Rob Ackley has had consistency all season. Brian Young in 86 has been one of our most consistent and highest performing rookies. So definitely look to see some guys challenge Thomas. They're not going to make it easy on him, but you can definitely expect him to be in the top 5. He's got a ton of momentum through this regular season so far. That's for sure. Absolutely.
Take a look, tell you a little bit about this place, Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, located just outside the town of Florence. Absolutely beautiful, small town USA. 1.366 miles. It's egg-shaped. Everybody knows the story of the minnow pond that caused the track to be egg-shaped. Banking from 23 degrees at the turns 1 and 2 end of the racetrack to 25 degrees at the turns 3 and 4 end. This place has been around as long as NASCAR has, originally opened in 1950. And tonight it will be rounds 9 and 10 of the championship. Yeah, we're doing a double. It is the Big Evil Design Darlington Duo. 55 and 74 laps will be the race distance tonight. Cautions are going to be called by iRacing. Restarts will be double file. As always, choose cone rule is in effect. Open shots at the overtime as well. And one of the things that's really been pretty interesting here, Boomers, we get ready to go qualifying, is these guys likely will not need a stop in race number 1. That could actually bring some interesting strategy games into play, because you could elect to stay out on tires if we get the late yellow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think anyone's going to be very competitive if they do decide to pit in this first race. So it's probably going to come down to a little bit of a fuel mileage race. And once you hit your fuel mileage window, then go like hell. But I'm hearing anywhere between 50 to 55 laps, probably more like 52 to 55 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I would not expect to see the leaders or anyone in the top 15 pitting in this first race. So bit of a fuel strategy here. And the second race is probably going to be a little bit easier, deciding on really if you want to overcut or undercut the tire or split it directly in half. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But definitely a one or a no stopper and a one stopper for our first and second races tonight.
Taking a look here, trying to get the cameras pulled up on Chad Mikus. Let's see. There we go. We'll take the onboard with him here, I guess. It's qualifications.
Big shout out.
Oh, go ahead.
I say big shout out to him, to Chad. He's actually our sponsor. Big Evil Designs is the sponsor for tonight's doubleheader. So appreciate him sponsoring a race here at Darlington, and obviously he's got the beautiful Dale Jr. nationwide throwback on the Big Evil Designs scheme tonight.
Alex Viccellio going to move to the top of the speed charts with a lap time of 29.930. Rob Ackley very quickly going to be second quick. Now Chad Mikus moves to the top of the charts, 29.918. And this is, because it's a doubleheader, it's kind of, it's solo qualifying. So we're going to have to follow along with individual drivers instead of being able to kind of give you like the side-by-sides throughout. We'll have to pick some individuals as we go here. But let's pick up the 71 of Gael Brooks. He still wants us to ask if he's hit the wall on his own. How about the Matt Kenseth throwback on Gael Brooks' car tonight? That's fantastic, as Rob Ackley goes new quick time, 29.895.
Yeah, Gail's a big Matt Kenseth fan, so I'm sure he's pretty excited to see his favorite driver make it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in this season.
Yeah, that was the big announcement So we'll pick up Tyler Hensley here as he's just coming around to complete his run as well. How about a Danica Patrick throwback on the 90 of Johnny Edward? I don't think Danica's been gone long enough to warrant a throwback, but we'll take it. She is no longer running, so I guess it is a throwback. Let's see. Trying to think here. It was Matt Kenseth, Kirk Shelmerdine, and
I keep forgetting the third one too, but yeah, Matt Kenseth, Kirk Shelmerdine, and
let's see.
Herschel McGriff.
Herschel McGriff, thank you.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, on the Pioneer ballot, Herschel McGriff.
That is correct, and a very well-deserved Herschel McGriff as well. Absolute legend in the southwest part of the country. Pick up the number 4, Casey Shue.
He's got a bit of an interesting throwback. He's actually throwing it back to one of his old, I think his first league racing paint scheme that I believe the 24 of Thomas Bresci put together for him. So kind of cool, throwing it back to yourself. I like it. I like the style. It's cool.
You know what? I'm calling shenanigans. It drives me nuts when they do this in the real world. I'm throwing back to myself. No, you're not. Find somebody else.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. I like the viewpoint.
It's awesome. I tell you what, I do like the idea of I'm going to bring out something that people haven't seen in a long time. And especially like for some sim racers, I mean, I've been around since, well, Indy 500, the simulation. I go way back. But some of the leagues you ran in NASCAR 2003 or Grand Prix Legends even, people that you run with now may have never seen some of those. So that's pretty cool. Casey Shue going to move up to 7th quick with his lap time of 29.921. Pick up the 9 to Hayden Pastorius. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. The Coors colors look spectacular. Thomas Bresci, he's going to move up to 2nd quick as Riley Thompson. The Mark Martin throwback. I love this paint scheme. The 56 looks spectacular, and it is fast. 29.811, going to be top of the speed charts.
Yeah, pretty excited to have Riley Thompson back this season. He doesn't always have a chance to join on Monday nights since the Fuel League moved to Monday nights a season ago, but really glad to see him here. Bit more of a road course ringer and definitely more faster in qualifying than he is on the long run, but looking to see him back up that qualifying run with a good run tonight. So excited to see him and have him back here in the Fuel Premier Series.
Brian Young, he was 10th quick after lap number 1. See what lap number 2 is going to do. It will not improve. 29.922 seconds will be the lap time of record for Brian Young. And I think we just about have everybody qualified with the exception of the 88 of Tyler Dulger and the 92 of Chris Matthews. But we'll see those guys at some point out here on the racetrack. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. Make sure you get the comments, and super chats are a way to about guarantee that we're going to say almost anything you want on the air. I do reserve some judgment there, but not much. Thank you to all the people that have subscribed on YouTube and on Twitch as well. Your support helps make these broadcasts better, lets us do things like run the side-by-side cameras and acquire hardware and all that kind of stuff. All that money that you guys give us goes right back into the show. Still 6 minutes or so left in qualifying here. Go ahead, Boomer.
Also, yeah, definitely appreciate all that you've thrown into this league, and so far this season, it's been a blast having you on board, and excited to continue the partnership, and definitely appreciate being in the booth a little bit here while I'm out on injury. But yeah, definitely appreciate you being here too. But it's a lot of fun. Definitely get a chance to subscribe and watch these broadcasts. They're quite a bit of fun. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a part of them right now, but they're definitely a lot of fun to do, and yeah, appreciate being a part of it.
It's fun getting to hang out here. That's gives you something to do. Pick up the 11 of Justin Morton. This is one I forgot to ask Justin. I have no idea. Honestly, I am lost on this throwback. I think the Carling colors are very old, but I could be mistaken. It also could just be that I'm thinking of something completely different as well. I could just be flat lost, which would
might
not
have
be
to
entirely
reach out
surprising.
to him. Yeah, I might have to reach out and see what that is, but it is a pretty cool looking number 11 Toyota that he's got there racing tonight.
Let's take a look. Let's go on board for the side-by-side. Justin's getting a couple of extra laps in here in practice. Well, as soon as we say that, he's going to pull off the racetrack, so. Should be just about done qualifying here.
I'm getting word it is a Cale Yarborough 1979 throwback scheme. I like the colors.
I was going to say, the colors are fantastic. Well, it looks like, okay. That's a little bit odd. Twitch didn't save our our changes earlier today here, so we'll update the video description for you. Yes, getting comments saying, what, this doesn't look like Indy Pros. No, this is not the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. This is the Fuel Premier Series, and this one is the Big Evil Designs Darlington Duo. The event logo is absolutely spectacular for this one. We're going to have...
Chad Mikas has his own little flair there with Big Evil Designs and a lot of cool stuff coming out of his design shop. Go ahead, Chris.
And this one tonight will be a 55-lap feature, followed by a 74-lap feature event. So we're going to run 2 races tonight, but there's an added twist. The second race is a double points race, so we're going to give out 3 races worth of points in a double header here tonight. Something tells me that second race is going to be very, very cutthroat.
Yeah, I would expect so. And the only interesting thing for the mix will be the invert of the top 10 after the first race. Not too much to shake it up, just to get a little bit of, some comers and goers there in the top 10, but it'll be interesting for sure. A lot of points. You can completely change your season or completely throw it away tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone handles that.
So let's take a look here at your starting lineup for tonight's race number 1 of the Darlington Duo. Riley Thompson and Thomas Bressy going to occupy row number 1. Row number 2 will have Justin Munsell and Justin Morton. Rob Ackley and Blake Gordon on row number 3. Row 4 will have Chad Mikas and Mike Stroll. Casey Shue and Brian Young on row number 5. Alex Ficellio and Tyler Hensley on row number 6. Row 7 will have Will Roberts and Hayden Pastorius, Joe Dinsmore and Johnny Edward on row number 8. Gael Brooks and Travis McQuistion on row 9, Brandon Bernhardt and Brandon Wengard on row number 10. Kyle Cooper, Casey Lakatos on row 11, John Gervin and Brian Keita on row number 12. Row 13 will have Kyle Cooper, row 13 will have Brent Kusick and Brian McFerrin. Cal Filarski and Drew Schaub on row number 14. Row 15, Don Runkle Jr. and Chris Matthews. And Tyler Dulger will round out the 31-car field here this evening. This one should be an absolutely wild show coming up here tonight. And we cannot wait to bring you every bit of it. field will make their way off of turn number 4. And as always, race fans, the start of this one, going to be all yours. I guess it helps if I turn my mic back on. No surprise thus far, Boomer. Everybody has kind of gotten themselves in line. Things have settled down. You really just can't be burning tires off these cars. I was hearing as quick as 10 laps, these guys were going to be losing a second of race pace.
Yeah, that's a ton of time to be falling off for sure, but definitely Darlington known for that. I mean, even if you look at the real track in the real world, that pavement that they repaved, 2 years ago now, off of turn 2, it already looks like it is grayed out like the rest of the track. I mean, such an abusive surface, just sitting in the sun and weathering at all times.
Well, we got one in the wall, and it looks like, let's see here, that's going to be the 66 of Brian Keita that got a piece of the wall. Keita going to be battling right now with Kyle Cooper. In fact, let's flip those up here. '65 of Brian Keita has an absolute handful right now. Excuse me. Yeah, the 66, sorry. 66 of Brian Keita. Out of Bartlett, Illinois.
A little loose out of 2 there, just a little.
Just a little.
Yeah, that wall outside of 2 can absolutely reach out and grab you if you're not careful. So definitely got to be cognizant of that all night long. But you'll definitely see a few people sliding it off of 2 for sure.
Go back to the battle for the race lead. We've got 4 cars nose to tail. Thomas Bressie, Riley Thompson, Justin Munsell. Heck, let's throw Blake Gordon in the 13 into that one as well. Bressie in a Mark Martin throwback. Riley Thompson in the Mark Martin throwback. Cale Yarborough on Justin Morton's car. The 98 of Justin Munsell does not have a throwback this week. Tisk tisk, how dare you, sir? The 13 of Blake Gordon running a Casey Mears throwback to the Germain Racing days.
Definitely a few jokes out there for maybe a deserving EOL penalty for some of those not running a throwback scheme, but it's all good and fun, you know. Definitely love to see those who were able to participate and put something together for tonight's race.
Let's go on board here. I almost said with Casey Mears, with Blake Gordon. I mean, you could just hear it so much off throttle time. Got a great battle of the Justins just ahead of them. Morton and Munsell. Morton on the outside, Munsell down to the inside of the racetrack. And that battle opened the door for Gordon to come around Munsell. Man, I'll tell you what, I think we're already starting to see tire wear play a little bit of a role here.
Yeah, for sure. It does not take long.
Ooh, a little bit of a slider there. A Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback on the 25 of Chad Mikas. Rob Ackley's number 22. A very cool Tony Stewart throwback. And Mike Stroll also running a Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback. The Domination Intimidation Racing guys actually have a pretty neat kind of reason for running the Dale Jr. throwbacks. It's not the whole redneck Jesus thing. There's a little bit of a tie-in connection to NASCAR 2003 and even some of these guys possibly running with Junior on that. And that's kind of where the team got their start.
Yeah, it's, so I don't remember who was who, but both Aaron Hall and Mike Stroll, who Aaron is no longer with us, but those two were the two that started the team. And Domination or Dominator and Intimidator were their names on the original NR03 leagues and forums. So that's how they formed a team and started that together. So kind of cool that they're actually celebrating our 20th year. I'm part of the team and happy to be a part of it, but it's a really cool deal that they're celebrating 20 years this year.
Caution flag is out on the speedway for the first time. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Looks like an issue for Tyler Dulger. Dulger out of Port Clinton, Ohio in the 88. Oh yeah, car got a little bit loose. Big time contact into the inside wall. He slides back across the racetrack, and that will bring out the caution flag for the first time here this evening. Race leader
it's not
Thomas.
something that you recovered from.
No. Not a hit like that, especially. Race leader Thomas Bressie going to bring the field down pit lane. Now, what's interesting here is, unlike in the Cup Series where they had an almost unlimited set, quantity of tire sets, here in this race tonight, they've only got 2 sets in the box. So first race, maybe not as much of a concern, but for the second race, a couple of early cautions, you may need to stay out on old tires just to make sure you've got a set for late in the race.
Yeah, I'm assuming everyone's going to be pitting when they can here now in this first race, obviously, but that second race is definitely going to come into play for those tires. Whoever can save their tires the best is going to make a big difference as we see the 56 win in the race off pit road.
Yeah, that was a big race win off pit road there for Riley Thompson. 14 laps on the first set of tires. So again, if you've only got one more set in the box, man, you almost wonder if you get a caution in another 10 laps or so, do you come in and take them? That's a tough question.
Yeah, it's tough. You don't want to be you want to be the last one to take them, but you don't want to be the last one to take them too late either. So it is absolutely a gamble.
Yeah, I asked the JT Motorsports guys about that in the pre-race, about when is too late to take that last set of tires. And the consensus was it's never too late. If we get a green-white checkered finish, you're probably coming down pit road because they're going to be that much faster, especially if you've had even a 15-lap run on the old set of tires.
Yeah, I know you've already commented the tire fall off after 10 laps is almost half a second or more, I think you said, and it is insane how much tires mean here at Darlington. It is absolutely astronomical, the tire difference, so it'll be big deal to take tires late if you can save them.
5-lap average for race leader Riley Thompson, 30.517 for the last laps completed at speed. His best lap, 29.825. So you're already talking about almost a full second to drop off, and that was only at about 14 laps. on that first set of tires. So it's going to be interesting to watch the cheese grater here over the course of the night. The other one that is going to be really cool to watch is the choose cone. Drivers can head to the top 2 lanes of the racetrack. That picks them the outside lane. Bottom 3 lanes of the racetrack take you the inside. The question becomes, is there an advantage to taking inside over outside here at Darlington? Pace truck making its way through turns 3 and 4. Thompson and Bresci on row 1, Morton and Gordon on row 2. Mikus and Stroll row 3, Vicellio and Pistorius row number 4. Let's take a look here. Let's go side by side for the restart here, right along with Justin Morton. Tell you what, Boomer, and that was really neat to hear. They're not only having to baby the throttle, but you can almost hear them coming off throttle completely at mid-corner, really trying to use the right foot to get the car to steer.
Yeah, definitely, which is somewhat unique in turns 1 and 2 because you can just about flat-foot it through there on a qualifying run, or at least as much as you possibly can. You know, get in full throttle, ease it off in the middle of the corner, and then let it settle and go. But yeah, definitely maybe a little bit of tire-saving management here early too in this run. You almost have to drive it like a dirt track, you know, because it's just so incredibly aggressive on tires that you need to drive more off the throttle than you do the steering. And a lot of guys like Tyler Reddick that you see in the Cup Series that can do dirt racing well do a really good job of that.
Taking a look a little bit deeper in the field here. The number 1 of Brandon Wengard. The Hershey's Squirt 69 of Don Runkle Jr. And the 92 of Chris Matthews all running together. Just up ahead is going to be the 65 of Brent Kusick as well. And oftentimes, at places like Darlington, the action at the back of the pack is almost more exciting than what's going on at the front. The guys at the front are managing tires and trying to run their race. It seems like towards the back of the pack, you are in hold-on survival mode.
Yeah, just trying to keep it on track sometimes. It's definitely difficult, especially with how competitive it is from, honestly, 10th to 25th, how many people are in that mix. And yeah, difficult field. And when you're hanging on, it's not a fun place to be for sure.
We have JG checking in on YouTube a little bit earlier in the race saying, Boomer, get well soon and tell the 33 to get his shit together.
That would actually be John Gervin's dad, so the dad of the 33 car here tonight. Appreciate it, John. And yeah, I would agree. Definitely need to see that 33 car getting his act together tonight.
Oh, man, what car? That was the one of Wengard. He's going to bounce it hard off the wall. He's still got a big-time handful down the back straightaway. We'll stay green for now. Man alive, he is really hurting at this point, though. That's tough because that's one, not only is it tough to come back from, but now you're trying to make it until somebody else is the next caution. Looks like we got the 66 bouncing off the wall here as well. Darlington stripes aplenty already in this race. Love the throwback. The Mountain Dew, kind of in line with the Pepsi Challenger days for Darrell Waltrip on the car of John Gervin.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful scheme for tonight.
Out of Livonia, Michigan, all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
There you go.
Move a little bit further forward in the field. Here's another one of my favorites. The 95 AOL Broadband America Online paint scheme. Now, a lot of people are going to kick and scream and say that was an RCR scheme. The first guy to run that was Andy Belmont in the, what was at the time, the Arca Bondo Marhide series. Andy with a very long history in the Arca series, was also ran a couple seasons of Cup. One of the kind of field filler type guys. I believe it was Brock Beard did a YouTube interview with Andy on just that subject of what it was like to be the field fillers. Check that one out on YouTube.
Yeah,
Andy told a lot of stories that I'm pretty sure NASCAR is not happy that he was telling.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of stories out there that NASCAR is not super happy.
Get a call on Wednesday from NASCAR saying, we need a car in Michigan on Thursday. All right, we'll show up. Taking a look here, we'll peek back in at your top 5. They're still running nose to tail here, as we are at the halfway point of race number 1. Thomas Bressie, Blake Gordon, Riley Thompson, Justin Morton, Mike Stroll, your top 5. Riley Thompson has lost 2 spots since the last restart.
Still hanging in there, though. Definitely a pretty good showing so far for his first race of the season, and definitely can be out of practice when you're not doing it as much, especially when you're not running with these guys on a weekly basis. So kudos to him so far, as he's got his teammate in the 11 of Justin Morton just behind him.
Pick you back up the side-by-sides here. The 7 machine of Brian McFerrin. The old Nation's Rent paint scheme. I'm not sure what sponsors he has on the side of it, but I believe that was a Nation's Rent livery from years ago. Just ahead of him, the 81 of Brandon Bernhardt, and another of the Dale Earnhardt type, or Dale Earnhardt Jr., I should say, throwbacks. And do we have, yeah, we have 2 7s. Oh, right. That's the, yes, that's the 2 of Will Roberts. I remember this discussion, that it looks like a Z. I thought it was a 7. Roberts out of Efland, North Carolina, one of the nerdy as hell racing guys.
I think that original scheme did have a number 7 on it, but in the theme of the 7 font that he had, decided to make more of a Z pattern out of the 2, and I think it looks good. I think I like it. I like the scheme. You know, kind of holds true to the original font that the number 7 was on that car, even though it is the number 2 tonight.
Yes, and speaking of the Danica Patrick throwback here, this is the 90 of Johnny Edward. Oh man, wow, we got some drama going on here at the front of the field. Big hit into the outside wall for Justin Morton. We're going to pick him up because he's going to have Chad Mikas all over him off the corner as well. That was a big, big hit for Justin Morton. Let's take a look here and see if we can see what happened here. Oh, yeah, big time squirrely off the corner. And that's going to put Morton well down the running order, at least from where he was in 3rd prior. Now running in 6th, and he's going to have Hayden Pistorius and Alex Ficellio catching quickly. This is one of the things you talked about, Boomer, the double points and really triple points on the night. This is a chance for you to really blow up your season with one little mistake.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it looked like the 11 might have been checking up for the guys in front of him getting loose, and the 8 might have gotten a little bit into the back of the 11 there. But no harm, no foul. Obviously, Justin did a really good job keeping it pointed straight and should be able to recover here. Still not, definitely not a huge disadvantage for race number 1, but who knows? Maybe if he finishes further back in the top 10, it'll help him with the invert for race number 2 and all those points in the double point race in the second race tonight.
That's a great point. Down to 21 to go here in race number 1. And 9 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock as well. So it should be plenty good on time. But one of those things we'll keep you informed about. These drivers are now 20 laps onto this stint, in this particular run of the tires.
I guarantee someone has already started screaming about tire wear for sure. With this is just about double the first run that we did, and I'm sure they're starting to see how much these tires really are going to wear out tonight.
Oh man, I think Mike Stroll may have gotten a piece of the outside wall. Thomas Bresci starting to check out. He has a 1.1 second lead over this battle between Blake Gordon and Riley Thompson. I have never been able to figure that out. How you let the car arc just right, that you kind of dive like middle to bottom third of that outside of the racing line. And the car just arcs itself up towards the wall and it kind of comes right back down again, and it's not a ton of steering input that these guys have to do. I am just not quick enough and not nearly enough practice behind the wheel of one of these cars. Oh, there's a big stripe for Blake Gordon. That may be more than a stripe. We'll have to see how that car is going to handle.
Seems to be rolling okay, but yeah, definitely a little bit of contact there. But I mean, it's definitely an art, especially here at Darlington. You got to find that edge and just let the car float up, but not too hot. Not get in too hot that you're going to hit that outside wall. Let it float up, turn, and then shoot down the middle to get that grip and straighten out that drive off. It's an art for sure.
Wow, what a move by Will Roberts. He just went 3 wide at the entry to turn 1, battling with the 4 of Casey Shue, the 98 of Justin Munsell. So let's take you through the field a little bit here. Thomas Bresci is your race leader, qualified on the outside of the front row. Pretty quickly got to the lead, then lost it at the exchange of pit stops. Lost the lead to this man, Riley Thompson. Riley having a very nice run. Qualified on the pole. Not a real surprise that somebody that's very good on road courses would be good here at Darlington. This is absolutely a car control racetrack. Currently running in the 3rd position is the 13 of Blake Gordon. He is up 3 from where he started the race. Running in 4th position is Mike Stroll. Well, excuse me, check that. Chad Mikas. Now it's Mike Stroll. Off the corner, we'll see. It's going to be Mike Stroll in the Domination Intimidation Racing number 8. Another of those Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwbacks. One right behind him as well, and teammate Chad Mikas. Currently running in the 6th position. How about the run for this guy? He is up 8 thus far. It is Hayden Pastorius in the glorious Coors Beer throwback Bill Elliott colors to the $1985 million man here at the Darlington Raceway. Looks a little weird being on a Chevy, but we'll give him props for the paint scheme one way or the other. It's a gorgeous looking race car.
I think we can let it slide a little bit because Chase does drive a Chevy now, but yeah, definitely a little different, but still absolutely an iconic scheme throughout the years in NASCAR.
Pretty cool seeing Bill wearing his, I believe it was his dad's crew shirt from that 1985 season. So Dad was wearing the shirt when Bill won $1 million, and Bill got to wear it for Throwback Weekend at Darlington this past weekend. That was pretty cool to see. Alex Viccellio running in the 7th position. Justin Morton has settled down into the 8th position after the contact. Had him all sorts of bound up and sideways. Running in the 9th position is Travis McQuistion. We're not going to talk about him a ton because he doesn't have a throwback. Just kidding, Travis. Do see a little bit of damage on the right-hand side of that car, though, so he has definitely picked up a stripe at some point tonight. One of your hard chargers in the number 50 is Casey Lakatos. Casey is up 12, but last one we'll show you here. Your hard charger of the race to this point is the number 7 of Brian McFerrin. He is up 14 positions as we are down to 10 laps to go. I love the throwback.
Yeah, that's hard fought 14 positions tonight here. So definitely a big run for Brian McFerrin in this first race so far, as he looks to try and pick up a few more spots to get in the top 10 and maybe make the invert to start on the pole. Just got to make up 2 spots to get in that 10th position to make it for that invert.
He's going to have the look here on Joe Dinsmore. Man, you can hear the tires just screaming over this pavement. Darlington sits close enough that to the ocean that it is on very soft soil, very sandy soil. And that just gets blown around all year long down there. And it just, I mean, it's like sandpaper on this pavement. Oh, buddy. Almost some contact up ahead for Casey Lakatos, trying to get around the lap car. It's a Benny Parsons throwback. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if that's Benny Parsons or Ken Schrader, but either way, that is an epic bullseye barbecue sauce throwback. That is the number 6 of Cal Filarski. Cal going a lap down, but it has now made this a big-time battle for the final spot in the top 10, which will put you on the pole for race number 2 at a place where track position is as critical as it is at Darlington. This is the most important fight on the racetrack right now.
Absolutely. As someone who has finished 11th in the first race of a field doubleheader in the past, I can tell you for a fact it is not fun. It is definitely more rewarding to be that top 10 guy to start on the pole for that second race. So these guys, honestly, quite frankly, will absolutely be running harder than our leaders will for this position. This is big.
Yeah, really not much going on here towards the front either. Let's see here. We're actually going to do this. We're going to pick up Alex Viccellio here, and then we'll pick up this fight for the 10th position. We'll give it to you in the side-by-side, because these are the only 2 battles right now anywhere close to the top 10. McFerrin to the inside of Lakatos. Nice drive off the corner by Casey. Tries to slam the door just a little bit. Got to watch out because the 5 of Tyler Hensley is right there as well, as we're down to 5 to go here in race number 1. That other battle is settled down, so we'll give you a look here at the race leader, Thomas Bressi. Oh, man, looks like we may have had the 50 up into the wall, because now the 95 of Joe Dinsmore is right on him, as is the 98 of Justin Munsell. Lakatos back down to the 12th position. So we'll pick up Brian McFerrin. McFerrin's been up in the wall as well. Tyler Hensley now going to move up into the top 10.
Just a few Darlington stripes here tonight, man. This is an exciting battle for sure. Oh, it looks like the 11 of Justin Morton also just got into the wall. These guys are in the wall all over the place.
Man,
they must be hanging on with these tires.
Coming off of the final corner, checkered flag is out. Thomas Bressi gets the win in a time-limited race number 1. 53 laps, the official distance of race number 1. Riley Thompson going to come home second. Blake Gordon, Mike Stroll, and Hayden Pistorius will round out the top 5. And just like that, we're going to the night. Let's see if we can, let's grab our race winner here for a quick interview. And Thomas, congratulations picking up the win here in race number 1. Not a bad way to start off the night, but something tells me you were holding on there towards the end of that one on the tires.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think I was still okay compared to some of the other guys. It looked like I was still pulling away a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's Darlington. It's nothing that I think most of us weren't, expecting and stuff. So, yeah, just glad to at least get one win on the night. I don't actually think I won at Darlington before in a league, so that's kind of cool. And win with the Mark Martin throwback is pretty cool because it was this exact date in 2009 that Martin won the Southern 500 with the paint scheme I'm running tonight, so that's pretty cool. So it's gonna be a fun one though for race 2 at the double points. So that's gonna be something.
Definitely interesting to see. How are you thinking what to expect? I guess with this top 10 invert that you're going to see here tonight, starting 10th after that first race win, starting 10th in the second race after that first race win.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's decent cars, I think, pretty much throughout the whole top 10. I think all those cars are quick. It's just, I know a couple of the guys had trouble kind of bouncing off the wall. I know Justin, I think, kind of got sideways or had something happen to him because, trying to miss people. So it's a little jumbled up anyways. But I think some of those guys that were fast maybe had a mistake that put them back in the first race now have a little track position for the second race. So that could definitely shake it up a little bit, make it a little harder to get back up to the front for the second one. But we'll see what we can do, give it the old college try, and hope we can sweep the night.
Well, congratulations on picking up the win here in race number 1, and let's make sure we get those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here too.
Yeah, same as always. Just want to give a shout out to the JT Motorsports guys, Tyler and Casey, for just doing what they do and being good teammates, and also shout out to the TDR guys for their continued good co-opetition, I guess, if you will. Glad to have Riley back. It was good racing him there at the start there of the race, those first 2 runs there. And, just the admins, as always, you guys are putting on a good broadcast. Hopefully everybody watching is having a good old time and enjoys the second race as much as the first one.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much. Good luck here in race number 2. And, yeah, Mark Martin had 2 wins at the Darlington Raceway. One of those being a Southern 500 victory. Made his first start at Darlington all the way back on April 4th, 1982. That is a long time ago. Speaking as an old guy.
Yeah, for sure. You don't realize how long of a career he really had.
Yeah, very, very long career. Actually, first several years were with the family-owned Martin Racing, ran for J.D. Stacy, drove for Morgan McClure in '83 in an Oldsmobile in the Southern 500. And then he just disappeared for a handful of years. Kind of went back, ran the ASA stuff, got himself rolling again. And then things really took off, starting in the 1988 season with Roush Racing all the way through 2006. Very, very long time there. And trying to see who who was our hard charger for that one?
Oh, that was Brian McFerrin, I believe. was our hard charger for that first race.
Sounds
He was
about
up,
right.
15 spots, looks like.
Well, let's, I don't know if he's on the racetrack or not, but we're going to bring him into the booth anyway. Brian, congratulations on picking up the Primate Pest Elimination Hard Charger Award here for race number 1. Man, I'll tell you what, how in the world did you gain 14, 15 spots here at Darlington? That was a long one.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know. There wasn't that much trouble in front of me. I was just really knocking them down one by one. I was starting to wonder, did other people take tires or was I the only one?
Well, I tell you what, it was a hell of a run. It's going to put you in a pretty decent starting spot here for race number 2 as well. What are you thinking now that you know we're going to have some pitch strategy involved and really managing the tire sets to have one for late in the race?
Well, that's going to add a added equation of difficulty for sure. But for me, I just going to run it the way I did. I felt like I didn't overrun it too hard, and I felt like I was just getting better and better as we went on. So nothing will change for me.
All right, bud. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, well, you can see how unsponsored, but thanks to my Steel Horse Racing team and for the guys letting me come out here and race with them, and looking forward to a good night.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And, man, I'll tell you what, warm-up's already over. It's time to go for race number 2. And this one is going to be wild. There is no other way to say it. Let's get you a look here at the starting grid for race number 2. On the pole will be the number 5 of Tyler Hensley out of Knoxville, Tennessee, driving for JT Motorsports. Outside of row number 1 will be the 93 of Travis McQuistion out of Tiffin, Ohio for Pelletier McQuistion Simulations. Inside of row number 2, the 25 of Chad Mikus out of Wheeling, West Virginia for Domination Intimidation Racing. And alongside of him from Sonoma, California will be the 11 of Justin Morton. Inside of row number 3 will be Westville, Illinois' Alex Ficellio in the 00. And to his outside, the number 9, Hayden Pastorius out of Corunna, Ontario, Canada, driving for Total Downforce Racing. Inside of row number 4 will be the 8 of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania's Mike Stroll, lining up to his outside from Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's Blake Gordon. Riley Thompson in the 56 will line up inside of row number 5. Thomas Bresci will line up on the outside as the winner of race number 1. Row 6 will have Brian McFerrin and Justin Munsell. Row 7, Casey Lakatos and Joe Dinsmore. Will Roberts, Casey Shue on row 8, Gael Brooks, Brandon Bernhardt on row 9. Row 10, Brian Young and Johnny Edward. Rob Ackley, Chris Matthews, row 11, John Gervin, Brandon Wenger, row 12. There is the rest of your starting grid. Pace Truck is in, and as always, race fans, the start of this one, going to be all yours. Lap number 1 goes in the books, and it belongs to Tyler Hensley. And while we had a mess about mid-pack here, let's bring you up the side-by-side. Casey Lakatos having to look to the inside of the 7 of Brian McFerrin. He'll get that pass completed easily. Not quite sure what that was early on here, but man, there was a handful going on. Looks like Tyler Dulger and Johnny Edward will be a did not start here in race number 2. Left-hand side of your...
And that was a... Oh, sorry, I was going to say, hearing that was a planned thing from Johnny Edward, had to hop off for the night, but not sure about Tyler Delger, so definitely both of them out for this second race, as you said.
So things starting to settle in a little bit here. Blake Gordon set the fastest lap of the race last time by at a 29.704. Now Travis McQuistion goes fastest lap at a 29.624. Out of position number 2. I will say I am a little bit surprised that we're not seeing a little bit more action here towards the front of the field, only because you had the invert that you dealt with, but you also, you kind of need to be up at the front. You don't even want to give up track position on pit lane, getting on and off if we have a caution flag.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of urgency, but I think these guys are realizing after that first race that you got to save as much as you possibly can. But definitely interesting that lap that you said that Travis McQuistion ran, a 29.62. That was faster than, I believe, the pole for our first race. So these guys are picking up 2-3 tenths just on race laps over the qualifying time. So definitely, as Larry McReynolds would always say, the nighttime is the right time as it's cooling off here. And some beautiful night racing here at Darlington.
Yeah, take a look at the weather conditions presented by our friends at the Weather Center. A very nice 69 degrees. Wind's going to be out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies. A track temperature of 74 degrees that I would say is probably pretty likely to decrease throughout the course of this race. The sun's going to stay down. You know, you're going to leach a little bit of heat out of the racetrack there. How does that change things, not just from a consumption, but also from a grip perspective for these guys?
Yeah, definitely going to make a bit of a difference here. I think you're going to have a little bit more grip in the cold here, but also gives you a chance to potentially slide around a little bit more as it does get even colder throughout the night. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Definitely changes the balance of the car just a little bit. I guess maybe not as quite as slick, and maybe an opportunity to get a little bit tighter throughout the runs. But you can definitely expect the tire wear to still have them sliding all over the place towards the end of the run. But
Travis McQuistion reeling in race leader Tyler Hensley. The gap down to 0.3 of a second here. And we'll give you the side-by-side as well. Follow along with Thomas Bressie and Riley Thompson as they try to make their way back towards the front of the field. Bressie up to the 6th position. Hard charger thus far is Rob Ackley. He is up 5 to run in the 16th position. Now, one of the things that it was kind of, I found interesting, kind of a thought exercise a little bit. As a driver, would you rather run the dual format where you have that little 5-minute break, you can get up out of the rig, stretch your legs a little, you know, grab a beverage, hit the head, whatever it is? Or would you rather do that kind of 150 or so lap race and just run it all the way through?
Yeah, I guess for me, I would enjoy a little bit of that break in the middle. You know, it's more of obviously still had almost some full fuel runs there in that first race, just about maybe 10 laps shy of that. But it's nice to get a chance to reset. Honestly, especially as nights get long here, some of these races and gets late in the night, you almost start to zone out a little bit in a long race like that. But you know, it takes some. I mean, just like in the real cars, it takes some mental acuity to actually sit there and focus and hit your marks every single lap. But I definitely don't mind the little break in between. But what are your thoughts on that, Chris? Would you rather have that little break, or would you rather go the long distance?
You know what? I'm a fan of both. If you're going to run a sprint race, then let's run a sprint race, is kind of the way I look at it. On the flip side of that coin, if you're going to run distance, I want to run distance. Last week I ran a 90-minute stint in a P2 car around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've got a full 500-mile enduro coming up in a couple of weeks here with our friends at the TNT Promotions League. I kind of want to run that long distance, like, okay, I have to grind this out. It kind of puts you in a mental place where you kind of have to force yourself to focus. Otherwise, let's just run sprints. These kind of like 70-lap races are like, oh my God, okay, come on. We'll get there someday.
Yeah, it's definitely fun, and obviously, as you mentioned last Wednesday, you guys doing something for a really cool cause there as well with that race at Indianapolis, but some other special events that you guys got going on, and a couple other affiliates with the league. I know there's a plan to run a Coca-Cola 600 later in, I believe, June or July. I can't remember exactly. I think June maybe, but that's going to be a long one for sure that I think you guys are covering as well, so it should be a cool race.
Yes, we will have live coverage of the World 600. That will be coming up here in June 3rd. B-class cars, the same ones we have out here on the racetrack tonight, for a full 600 miles around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That may be a bourbon and beer night in the broadcast booth. But yeah, I tell you what, I cannot wait. I love getting to call the distance races like that is fun, as well as, oh man, we got some action up here at the front. Chad Mikish, Justin Morton coming around Travis McQuistion. Blake Gordon shoving at McQuistion down the front stretch. Is Bressie going to look to the inside?
And 93 has been loose all over both ends of this racetrack, it looks like, so he is having a bit of a tough time maybe trying to hold on to this lead pack. Here's the 13 running out of patience for him here, pushing him all the way down the front stretch.
Yeah, his 5-lap average, 31.1 seconds for the lap. Rest of the race leaders are anywhere from 30.5 to 30.9. The 10-lap average is about 0.3 slower as well. The 15-lap average, there's some piece of good news for Travis. He's actually still in line, but the longer we get into this run, I think the worse that number is going to turn.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens where you're up ahead of, some of the guys that you're racing with. Obviously, you finished, 10th or 9th, but he was, first or second in the beginning of the race, so maybe not necessarily used to racing that high up front. Obviously, definitely a qualified driver to be there, but maybe not used to the pace of the race leaders, and could be pushing a little bit early to try and stay up front. That might have cost him, but hopefully he can collect it here and regroup.
So we'll keep that battle up on the screen. We'll also pick up Chad Mikish and Justin Morton. They're running about 1.5 tenths apart. That is the battle for the second position. And Travis McQuistion definitely falling off here. He is now down 7 spots from where he started the race this evening. Good battle here towards the front of the field. Thomas Bressie is coming in a hurry, catching Chad Mikish and Justin Morton. Already approaching the 1/3 distance mark in this one. The key thing, though, is the pit window is now open. 53 laps to go in this one. Means you can make it the rest of the way on fuel. The question becomes, I don't think we would see anybody stop. But could it be worthwhile to put tires, take the fuel that you need to get to the end, and then you're kind of in that game of hope the caution times out right?
Yeah, I think the caution is definitely going to be an interesting bit in the strategy here tonight. You're definitely going to have to play the game, and hopefully it pays off if you gamble and pit here early, and definitely you can make it all the way. But it'll be a long run if you plan to run all 55 laps on that second set of tires. So I'd be willing to bet people are going to probably play it safer and either run this tire set out as long as they can or split it in half. But it'll be interesting to see. I really hoping to see, for our sake at least tonight, some differing strategies.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at about lap 37 is where the stops would come if you wanted to split it in half. I guess that would make the most sense from a driver's perspective. It's still going to leave you a set in the box for late in the race. I just wonder, are you giving up too much time if you try to stay out there on old tires, or could it be worth it to try to run like a 50-lap stint, then put a fresh set of sneakers on for the last 20, and who knows, then you got one in the box for a green-white checkered or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here, as it looks like we do actually have a couple takers on pit road. Andrew Schaub and Brandon Wengert both getting service. Andrew Schaub already back on the racetrack. Brandon getting his service now, but a couple people looking to employ maybe either the two-stop strategy or more likely the one-stop strategy. Save a set of tires and run this one long. But interesting to see where they will come out at the end of this run.
Looks like both of those cars will be scored one lap down to the race leaders. Not a surprise that you would lose a lap here. It almost feels like caution is out. Yellow flag on the racetrack. Now, with everybody pitting, we'll have one that will get the lucky dog. The other looks like we'll be able to take the wave around here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because Will Roberts actually entered pit road as that yellow flag flew. So interesting to see for him as, just barely making it to pit road there.
Yep, he got on pit lane. What a call for Will Roberts.
It might play out pretty well in his favor now that he doesn't have to pit, though. We'll see. Hopefully he didn't get trapped a lap down during that cycle, though.
Well, and it looks like actually Will is still on pit lane here, just making his way out after a 37-second pit stop. So we're going to follow your race leaders. How about a Gael Brooks electing to not come down pit lane?
Strategy implications? I love it.
I tell you what, I don't think it's a terrible call. I mean, you're going to get swallowed up. There's no question you're going to get swallowed up on the restart.
Yeah, the only disadvantage for him was he's the only one who did it, but yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, but it's going to leave him an extra set of tires for late in this race. If we get another caution at lap 55 or so, every one of these leaders is coming down pit lane. That's going to leave Gael Brooks with the opportunity of possibly having an extra set of tires for a late race green-white checkered, caution flag, something along those lines. It's going to be interesting to see how this strategy plays out here. Let's actually see if we can find him to sneak a quick chat in. Mr. Gael Brooks, Chris Graham up here in the NRN booth. Well, we see it coming down pit lane now, so it sort of takes the question of strategy out of the play. But what was the reason for stopping one lap later?
I figured might as well get the bonus point. I do not have the long run speed that some of these other guys have been having, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. I caught the wall a couple times. I was like, I'll take my lumps. I'll get a bonus point, and then I'll go ahead and drive through, and then that way get my looks like 30 seconds of damage just to see if it helps things out a little bit, and then maybe try to take care of my right front a little bit better this time, because it was mad at me.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way here. Thanks for checking in with us.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
So there you go. I tell you what, it's kind of an interesting call to say, in discretion, the better part of valor in some respects, I guess. And just saying, hey, I'm not good at the moment. we'll take the bonus point. We're going to be at the back anyway. Might as well sneak a bonus point in here while we can. So we should get the 1 to go signal here this time by. The 2 of Will Roberts will get the wave around. That will put him back on the lead lap. Row number 1 will have Tyler Hensley and Justin Morton. Thomas Bressie, Blake Gordon on row number 2. Mike Stroll and Chad Mikas on row number 3. Casey Lakatos, Riley Thompson on row number 4. Row 5 is going to have Justin Munsell and Brian McFerrin. Hard chargers thus far in the race include Rob Ackley, who is up 9. John Gervin is up 10. But again, that's sort of how everybody is lining up here under the caution as well. So we'll go on board with Thomas Bressie and give you fans at home a chance to crank it up here as well.
Oh man, looks like they wrecked on that start. No yellow so far though.
There's the caution flag. And there was an incident here right at the restart. Looks like Brian McFerrin was going to be involved in that one. Keep your eye on that 7 car on the outside of the racetrack. Oh yeah, he just, wow. Just kind of looped it up. They're going to wad up a couple of cars here down the front straightaway.
Man, just shifted sideways as he probably got into second gear there. Unfortunate for Brian McFerrin after he having such a great first race, but it happens sometimes. I know we've all been prone to spinning the tires every once in a while.
We won't name names, but James Watson, my other co-host in the booth here, is called Watspin for a reason. Although he's usually
not
doing it under
names,
the caution
though, right?
flag. Correct. We're not naming names, though.
Okay, just making sure.
Now, this sort of brings up some of the interesting kind of strategy calls here, because we're going to be right about to the halfway point when we go back to green flag racing. Obviously, nobody is going to come in, or at least not many are going to come in and take tires. They'll take the damage repairs. And we're seeing Alex Ficellio, Kyle Cooper, Brent Kusick, Cal Filarski, Brian McFerrin. They're all on pit lane getting the damage repairs done. The question sort of becomes, does this have any strategy implications, or did we even not get far enough into the lap to get heat build up in the tires?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Might have been worth, well, yeah, they really didn't spend too much time going under green, so shouldn't be a heat cycle there, but definitely sometimes heat cycles are worse than laps. If you constantly, put 5 laps on them, get them hot, cool them off, put another 5 laps, cool, and then cool them off, that's definitely probably the worst thing for these tires, so hopefully they didn't get too much of that in there.
And they say cautions breed cautions, and wonder if things are cooling off a little bit more here. We'll check our weather conditions once again. And yeah, track temperature, air temperature down to 68 degrees, track temperature down to 63. Not a huge change, but we are starting to see that cool off starting to take place. We know a lot of the drivers that are watching a lot of the drivers participating tonight will be watching this back. So we'll tell them about the race we have coming up next Tuesday, May 17th. TNT Promotions and the National Racing Network are putting on the second annual Vintage Indy, 500 miles around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 5, we'll call them vintage classes of race cars. The Dallara DW12 Indy car, the most recent version of the Indy car prior to the IR18 that's being run now. The IR05 crap wagon that ran in the IRL's heyday. The Lotus 79, throwing back to the late 70s, early 80s. The Lotus 49, back to the 1960s. And the Pavement Sprint car. Closing speeds upwards of 100 miles an hour between your fastest class and your slowest class. Lap times that are 5 to 6 seconds apart. And the biggest attenuator party you will ever see as soon as the race is over as well. If you're interested, shoot us a message here on any of the socials. Give us a comment here on the YouTube side of things as well. But that race is going to be an absolute blast. I'm debating whether we are going to broadcast that or if I'm going to drive in it. Field already doubled up here, and it will be Tyler Hensley and Thomas Bressi on row number 1. Mike Stroll, Casey Lacados on row 2, Justin Morton, Justin Munsell on row 3. Row 4 will have Blake Gordon and Riley Thompson, Brandon Bernhardt, Chad Mikus on the 5th row here for the restart. We'll see if we can get through this one clean. And we'll try it again. Pace truck is in. Y'all at home, go ahead and crank it up. Great battle off at turn number 4. Riley Thompson battling with Justin Morton down the straightaway. Morton's trying to get up in line, but now Blake Gordon going to get to his outside. Now the door finally opens. Morton able to get up in line, but he's going to fall back to the 8th position. Tyler Hensley certainly trying to make his mark here, just setting a new fastest lap of the race. 29.602 seconds. That's a heater right there.
Yeah, fast. Definitely advantageous for him. I mean, he got that track position, and he's been absolutely showing his worth up there at the front of the field. So big move for him to finish 10th and invert to 1st, and he's been there just about this whole race now.
Thinking about the long game here, we talk about Thomas Bressi leading the points in a big way. He's in a position to get another good finish here tonight. At what point, tell us a little bit first, what are the fuel finals? How are they structured? And what becomes the thought process for the drivers that are trying to fight their way into that if they can't necessarily get a race win?
Yeah, it's really similar to the Cup Series format, or really any of the 3 top series in NASCAR. But it's it's a win and you're in, and then the rest goes down to points, and I think there's 10 guaranteed spots and 2 wild cards for a total of 12 drivers. So 12 drivers get into the finals, and obviously a win gives you the best advantage to lock yourself in. Similar playoff point bonus format. Once you're in the playoffs for every win, And for I can't remember if we do bonus points in the playoffs for the stage wins or not, but the stage wins coming at the halfway point of the race. So definitely a big advantage to be locked into that. Obviously, Thomas Bressi has plenty of wins to this season, and will pretty much wrap up the regular season here probably pretty quickly with the points that he has. But a complete reset and a chance for anyone who does make it to the finals to take advantage of that championship in the last 4 races of the season.
And we did have the halfway bonuses awarded there under caution. Tyler Hensley will pick up the big bonus for being the leader at the halfway point. Right-hand side of your screen has Riley Thompson, Blake Gordon, and Justin Morton. Just up ahead of Thompson is Justin Munsell in the 98 as well.
That's a big thing to note for those halfway points. Everything in this race is doubled. So Tyler Hensley just picked up 20, not 10, but 20 points for the halfway leader bonus. And obviously Thomas Bressi coming in second with 18 points, and then Michael Stroll in third with 16. So big bonus points for those guys in the top 10.
Yeah, we're going to have to start doing some math on when Thomas Bressi locks up the regular season championship here, because he's having a pretty monster night tonight as well on a what amounts to triple points night here for the Fuel Premier Series. Things start to settle in a little bit at this point. Once we've gotten through this point of the season, take a look at what we have for the upcoming schedule. That will be May 16th. We're going to head off to the Richmond Raceway 1 week. Or actually, hold on, let me check my numbers here, make sure I'm not totally screwing this up. But let's see. Yes, May 16th will be the Richmond Raceway event. The Aaron Hall 138 presented by Chance 3 Design Shop. Following that, the Nerdy as Hell Podcast 200 from the Talladega Super Speedway. Then we are off for the Memorial Day holiday. I can't believe we're already this close to Memorial Day. Following that up, June 6th, off to the Rockingham Speedway for the Skyfox Designs 150, followed by the Task Force Viper 200, presented by Redacted Milsim at the Auto Club Speedway. And on June 20th, the Chance 3 Design Shop 150 from Gateway is caution is out on the Speedway once again. Looks like Kyle Cooper, Brent Kusick going to be involved in this one.
Well, maybe a little bit of help for the 73 going around there, but definitely not fun to be in that mix.
No, that was a little bit of beating and banging contact off the wall. Also saw the 7 of Brian McFerrin involved in that one as well. Oh, man, and that 65 is absolute junk right now, as he has to take the tow back into the pit area. So now we've heat cycled the tires pretty significantly. And actually, while we were talking schedule here, Thomas Bressi able to get around Tyler Hensley as well. Who's coming to pit lane and who is not? Bressi and Hensley stay on the racetrack. Mike Stroll, Casey Lakatos, Blake Gordon, and others heading down pit lane. We'll cover the pit stops here for you. This is sort of what we were talking about in terms of the strategy game. You want to have the tires for late in the race, but if we don't get a late race caution, you got a set of sneakers sitting in the box getting you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't mind this call for these guys coming down. I think there's enough race to go, or to actually warrant taking them this time. It'd be interesting to see if we do get another caution in 15 or 20 laps. I think everyone who stayed out is going to win that deal on that gamble. But I don't think this is I do think this is a great call for these guys to come down now. So a bit of gamble.
You know what? I do too. I love the call because if we get a caution with 10 or 15 to go, that's not a lot of time to catch up if you're Thomas Bressi. You're you haven't completely made your bed yet, but if we're going to get another caution, you're going to need it to happen in the next 10 or so laps. Everybody back to 9th place. Gael Brooks staying out on the racetrack. Going to pick up a bunch of track positions, and this is going to shake things up in a big way. Bresley, Hensley, Munsell, and Thompson have been towards the front throughout the night. But now we've got some names that we haven't really talked about. Brian Young in the 86. He's up 14 as your hard charger of the race right now, running in the 5th position. 6 will belong to Hayden Pastorius. 7th will be the 4 of Casey Shue. Will Roberts going to roll off for the restart in 8th. 9th to Gael Brooks. Then the first car that took tires, Mike Stroll, will restart in the 10th position for this restart. The other one that I noticed was on the last couple of restarts, you sort of want to be, well, I thought you wanted to be on the outside of the racetrack, but Tyler Hensley going to give up the second starting position to line up behind Thomas Bressi. He's going to promote Justin Munsell to second. 4th will be the 56 of Riley Thompson, the 86 of Brian Young. Inside of row 3, outside will be Hayden Pastorius. Casey Shue, Will Roberts on row 4, Gael Brooks, and Blake Gordon on road number 5. This one's going to be interesting, that is for sure. In fact, let's take you side by side here. Follow along, keeping an eye on the number 8 of Mike Stroll. He is the first car that took tires here on the restart. Great restart for Bressi, not so much for Justin Munsell. Allows Tyler Hensley to slide up just in front. And as is kind of the case with most racing series, you're not going to see the benefit on lap 1 or lap 2 necessarily. It's going to be from like lap 3 on is where you're really going to notice the lap times pick up here for the 8 of Mike Stroll.
Yeah, and definitely knowing that he is one of the first guys, him and Rob Ackley, with fresh tires, you do want to be a little smart about it and not burn them off too much here. Eventually they will very easily start coming to you, and you can pick them off one by one, so trying to be methodical on here for sure.
Thomas Bressi holding off Tyler Hensley to this point, but Hensley really drives it deep into 1 and 2 into 3 and 4 that time. As we see Stroll looking down to the inside, having to look 3 wide down the front straightaway. thinks better of it, tucks back in line, but Casey Shue bouncing it off the wall.
Getting a little loose at it too. That 4 car, as Rob Ackley looks to the inside of him now.
The guy who's done the most gaining right now is Blake Gordon. He was able to clear that mess of race cars, already up to the 6th position. He's now in the spot that you kind of talked about there, Boomer, of be methodical, pick them off. They're going to come back to you. You just got to be a little bit patient.
Yeah, as much patience as you can have tonight is going to be key, especially as these guys who stayed out pitted last on lap 27, so they've got quite a few laps on their tires at this point, and I'm sure they will be hoping for one more caution tonight.
And there it is.
Wow, commentator's curse. Holy cow.
And he shall receive.
Wow.
Trouble for Cal Filarski. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Keep your eye on that Bullseye Barbecue Sauce, number 6. Oh, man, they were wadding him up. Casey Shue was around.
Where he could go.
Man, that's a tough break there.
So I think that this did still come out at an opportune time for the guys who came in on that last caution. You know, obviously we've got a heat cycle in both sets of tires here, whether they were old or not. But I think it's close enough to the previous pit stop that those guys who came down last time are going to enjoy an advantage for the, because we only see, 5 to 10 guys coming down pit road this time. Definitely an advantage for the guys that stayed out because they're going to have all the track position here.
This is a huge win for Blake Gordon, Mike Stroll, Chad Mikas, Casey Lakatos. All those guys that stopped under the last caution flag are now going to line up ahead of the drivers coming down pit road this time. Thomas Bressi, Tyler Hensley, Justin Munsell, Riley Thompson, Hayden Pistorius. These guys, quite frankly, I think these guys could be in trouble because it's only 10 laps in one heat cycle on the tires of the cars in front of them. We saw some drop-off after 10 laps, but, man, with 15 to go, this is a lot of cars to pass.
Yeah, especially because you're probably going to restart with closer to maybe 13, 12 to go. It'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of cars that you got to get through, and like you said on that last restart, or like we said, it took them a little bit to fire off after a couple of laps to start picking through the field, and there's not going to be as much of a tire difference here to these guys that pitted now and the other guys that stayed out this caution versus the previous caution where the guys at the front who came in, there's a bigger gap in tires on the previous restart for the guys who came in last time. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's definitely going to be some work cut out for Thomas Bressi and Justin Munsell as they lead the guys coming off of pit road starting in 12th for this restart here.
Let's bring in our race leader, Blake Gordon. I tell you what, bud, the strategy call there to stop at the last caution, that looks like a pretty spectacular call right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping it plays out that way. I didn't know if those guys were going to stay out with how many laps we had left, or if they were going to pit. But then I knew, they'd be kind of deep back in the field with, not a whole lot of laps, and it's tough to pass. So I'm pretty nervous about how this is going to play out.
All right, bud. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Hopefully we're talking to you in victory lane just a little bit.
All right, man. I hope so. That'd be cool.
So there you go. Blake Gordon. Very, very interesting. That's what we got going on here right now. Blake, one of the only other guys to win a race this season. Justin Morton has 2. Blake Gordon and Travis McQuistion each have 1. The rest of the season's been the Thomas Bressi show. Bressi getting his 5th win of the season here in race number 1 tonight. But, yeah, I'll tell you what, Boomer, I really agree with you. We're down to 13 laps to go. That's a lot of race cars to pass. Thomas Bressi's going to restart 11th.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here how it plays out. I still think the guys that pitted that last caution have the advantage here. Definitely Thomas Bressi and those guys are going to get through a few, but I don't know if they're going to have what it takes to get all the way back to the end of the pack there, or the front of the pack, excuse me, I should say. So it'll be interesting to see. Plenty of guys on older tires, but not that old. So a good pit call strategy. I mean, even for guys in like John Gurren in the 33 and Kyle Cooper in the 73 and Don Runkle in the 69, guys that are up 17, 18, and 13 spots right now that might have a really good opportunity to stay up front a little bit, or at least maybe get a top 15 when they might have been closer to a top 20, 25 for tonight. So good strategy call for some of these guys. We'll see though how it plays out.
Do we see the big one happen? That's the only part that makes me nervous. You got some very fast cars and some drivers that haven't been running at the front all night long. This has the potential to be absolutely wild watching these guys get off the racetrack. Thomas Bressi going to restart in 13th. Let's show it to you here. Yeah, they're already starting to stack them up a little bit here. Great restart for Blake Gordon. He checks out as they get off towards turn 1. Mike Stroll already up to second.
Oh, they double zero in the wall. Looks like a little bit. Stacked him up just a bit.
Bressi having to look to the inside of the 33 of John Gervin. He'll get that pass made quickly. Bressi already up to the 9th position, but it's going to be 12 laps to go. No more methodical. There's no time left for, we'll pace ourselves, we'll get them when we get them. You got to go and go right now.
Yeah, and that's what that 13 did on that restart there. I mean, absolutely timed it perfectly, and thankfully for the number 8 of Michael Stroll right behind him to time it well, just as they kept rolling. So definitely a big advantage to jump out to the front. So if we see no yellows, this will be your race for the lead, because I doubt that 24 is going to make it there in time. He's sitting about about 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds back from our leaders. It'll be interesting to see if they can make it back up there.
And another pile of race cars to get through too. The next one up is going to be the 69 of Don Runkle. He's going to have Joe Dinsmore, Casey Lacados. And oh, by the way, Casey Lacados, he's quick. Chad Mikas is quick. These are no slouches. Oh, one car hard into the inside wall. We'll see if that will bring out the caution flag. It was Chad Mikas going around.
And that's unfortunate for Chad. Looks like he got a little bit loose and then got some help, and he's probably done for the night. Unfortunate for our title sponsor this evening of Chad Mikas and Big Evil Designs.
And perhaps the biggest thing for Blake Gordon and Mike Stroll is it did not bring out a caution flag. Thomas Bressi is up to 3rd, but he's got 9 laps to make up 3.25 seconds. Man, he is eating time into this huge, though.
Yeah, I know he was in traffic that last lap, but Thomas Bressi was 0.2 of a second slower than Blake Gordon and Michael Stroll. We'll have to see once he gets back into some semi-clean air what he can do to run these guys down. But as of right now, he's losing some time.
Last time by it was 3.25 seconds. It is down to 2.8. This time by for Thomas Bressi, and he just set the fastest lap of the race at a 29.597. He's flying right now, trying to get caught up.
Wow.
But man,
almost half a second faster that lap. He's running Q times right now just to get to that lead. So who knows? I could maybe eat my words. He's coming.
He's coming, but there's a difference between getting to somebody and passing them. It's another half second. The gap now down to 2.2. The last thing Blake Gordon and Mike Stroll want to see right now is a caution flag. They need this race to go green to the end. And a great job by those two to get the lead built up that kind of forced Bressi's hand a little bit. Last lap time, 29.781 for Thomas Bressi. Race leader Blake Gordon, 30.2.
Yeah, we'll see if Thomas Bressie starts to fall off after what will probably be about a 10-lap run here. It'll be interesting to see as he does get close, but we'll see if he slows down at all. But at this rate, he is definitely going to get there, and we will see what he can do to get around the 8 and the 13 leading this race.
1.5 seconds is the gap. 1.3 now for Thomas Bressie, behind Blake Gordon and Mike Stroll. It'll be 4 to go, this time by the start-finish line. Call it 1.1 at the line.
Still 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second faster than our leaders. This is crazy. Blake Gordon gapping Michael Stroll just a little bit, 0.03 faster that lap, but as you mentioned, Thomas Bressie 0.5 of a second faster lap by lap as he's already caught the number 8.
He's caught the 8 of Mike Stroll, but he's got to get past him. He'll try it down
the 8 is blowing up, it sounds like.
Oh, what a heartbreaker for Mike Stroll. Yeah. We'll see. Can he make it another 2.5 laps? Two to go. The gap is 0.6 of a second. And quite frankly, it's holding at about 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, Bressie only about 0.2 of a second faster than Blake Gordon that last time around. We will have to see. I think Blake's got an opportunity, if he is perfect here, to bring home this checker flag.
But man, perfect at Darlington is so darn hard to achieve. Off at turn number 4, white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at the Lady in Black.
If he gets there, do we see the bumper?
It's 0.2 of a second. It's 1/10. How about it's a car length and a half off of 2? Bressie is there. Right up. Oh, he got into him.
Bumper.
He nudged him. They're going to bounce off each other in 3 and 4. Drag race to the line. Who's it going to be? Blake Gordon by half a car length. What a finish. Blake Gordon by 0.02 of a second over Thomas Bressie. Mike Stroll able to bring the number 8 home in 3rd. Wow.
Almost looked like the 24 backed off just a little bit after getting into the 13 really hard there, but no matter what, the 13 still made it all the way back to the line first, and he is going to burn it down here on the front stretch.
What a run for Blake Gordon. He beats the 24 of Thomas Bressie by 24 thousandths of a second at the line. Mike Stroll coming home 3rd, 1.1 seconds back to complete the podium. Justin Munsell, Casey Lakatos round out the top 5 here this evening. 6 through 10 tonight will be Riley Thompson, Hayden Pistorius, Tyler Hensley, Will Roberts, and Brian Young as the motor finally decides to give out there on the 13 of Blake Gordon. 11 to 15, Brian McFerrin, Don Runkle, Joe Dinsmore, Rob Ackley, and Alex Ficellio. 16 through 20, Chris Matthews, Gael Brooks, Brandon Bernhardt, and Cal Filarski. 20 to 25, Andrew Schaub, Justin Morton, John Gervin, Kyle Cooper, Chad Mikas, and Casey Shue. Brent Kusick going to finish in the 26th position tonight. Travis McQuistion, 27th. Brandon Wenger, 28th. 29th to Brian Keita. Johnny Edward, 30th. And Tyler Dulger will round out your field here this evening. Wow, what a show we got out of these guys. We said they needed to get out to the big gap on that final restart, and that is exactly what they did. Congratulations to our Nerdy as Hell podcast rookie of the race, Justin Munsell, coming home in the 4th position. The hard charger of the race, this is exciting. The number 69 Hershey's Squirt of Don Runkle Jr. gaining 13 positions to finish in 12th here this evening. We'll start to bring up some of our top finishers here up. At least get them ready to talk in the booth with us here. All right, Boomer, if you would mind finding our rookie of the race and hard charger, if you would please, sir, I will get us ready to go
Absolutely.
for our victory lane interviews. Got to get everything updated here first.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, and with that, it is time for us to start talking to our top finishers here tonight. And man alive, this one was fun. Let's bring in our race winner to kick things off, Blake Gordon. Shades of 24 hours ago in the real world at Darlington Raceway. I'm assuming you figured the bumper was coming at some point, but man, I tell you what, about as clean of a bumper as you could get, and you guys put on a hell of a finish there to the line.
Yeah, that was awesome. I wouldn't have blamed him for actually passing me there. I didn't know if he would do it or not, you know. I can't really remember racing him head-to-head for a win, so I didn't know if he'd be clean or if he'd do it. He was hands down the fastest car all night tonight, so he probably deserved both wins. But, yeah, I'm glad the strategy call there at the end worked out. Anyone who was watching and knows me from my other league, I've won a championship here at Darlington with that same exact move. So if he would have, you know, done it and won the race, it would have been, I guess, some karma coming back for me. So I would have been all right with it.
Almost as important as the strategy call in the pits was the restart that you and Mike Stroll got at that last green flag run. Being able to open up that 3+ second gap really was the key to victory tonight, because of how quick Thomas was able to get through the field.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I knew he would be driving, you know, pretty aggressively trying to get back to the field. I was hoping, you know, with us having less laps on our tires than he had when we pit and we're chasing him down, that I would have more time to stay out ahead of him and he wouldn't get there that quickly. But he did. He's a great driver, and yeah, I guess he made pretty easy work of everyone else. And with like 7 to go, I looked down, I saw he was in 3rd, and I was like, oh, great, I think he's going to get here. So, but yeah, the restart was huge. I was glad I could control it from the outside, get the good jump I needed. And yeah, the whole last lap, I was just telling myself, don't screw it up. Every quarter, don't screw it up. Because in the first race, I hit the wall, and I think I was maybe top 2, top 3 on speed. And I didn't want to hit the wall that late in that race. So literally every corner, I'm sitting there saying, like, don't screw it up.
Mentally, what's that like as a driver? Is that just exhausting to be in that position where you're trying to stay out of your own head and not make the mistake?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the first race, I don't know what I started thinking about, but it wasn't, you know, hitting the marks every single corner, and the next thing you know, I'm in the wall. And that was just from missing my mark on the, you know, corner entering the one by like 1.5 feet. So, like, the last run there, yeah, I just had to, like, literally just be in my own head, telling myself, look, just hit your marks. Like, you know, don't overdrive 3, hit the bottom in 1. That was the key to the last stint there.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud, it was a fantastic run tonight, a monster points night for you, picking up the double points here. And it should pretty close to lock you in for the Fuel Finals here. I mean, obviously, who knows what can happen over the next handful of races, but got to be pretty confidence-inspiring knowing that you've now got a couple of wins that you're locked in with, plus some pretty solid points here as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't come into tonight really expecting, this good of a points night. Darlington's not one of my better tracks, but we did have a next-gen race here in another league last night, and it did not go well. But this car suits my driving style much, much better than the next-gen. So tonight, everything was clicking. I could actually drive the car the way I like to with my right foot and with my hands. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations once again on picking up the victory here in the Big Evil Designs Darlington Duo race number 2. Before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Well, of course, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast, Big Evil Designs for sponsoring the race, and honestly, everyone we raced with tonight. For Darlington, we had a really, really good, clean race. So, hats off to everyone in the field. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That race was a ton of fun to watch tonight here. And let's talk to the guy now who was runner-up tonight. Well, he's got a win and a runner-up finish, so about as huge of a points night as you could possibly hope for. Thomas Bressy, that was really, really impressive. Tell us about the last run, because we were going, I'm in the booth here saying, I don't think there's enough laps to catch up. And all of a sudden we're going, he's third in clean air and running qualifying laps. How much fun was the chase before you got to Blake and Mike there at the end?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you live for. Even if it's not real racing, and sim racing, that's all it is, or whatever you want to call it. It's still the kind of thing you live for. I mean, it kind of throws me back to the 12 hours of Sebring I did with Casey earlier this year, and we started third, but we got knocked off in the first lap, and then his internet quit. So we were 2 laps down the whole race and just rallied the whole race. And then I think in the last 40 minutes of that race, we made up a 24-second gap, and we barely got to third where we started, and it felt like a win. And it's the charge, and just, that you got to be as perfect as you possibly can be. And that's the kind of stuff that you live for. That's the best. Yeah, there was a point there I was like, there is no shot I'm getting there. And I knew I should have pitted the first time. We were kind of talking back and forth maybe we should stay out. We didn't go that far, and my gut told me, I was like, you should pit. And I threw that one. So that was stupid on my part. I should have just come in there, and got out to an okay lead, and then the caution came out. I think maybe had it gone green, I might have been okay-ish, because I was holding a 2-second gap on the guys with tires, but I don't know. It's, I got lucky though with that stack up off of 4. I was trying to set up the first car in that group, and then I guess Brian or whatever, because he hadn't stopped in forever, he just kind of stacked them all up and kind of seas parted, and then that was the big. I mean, if I hadn't gotten through that group of 5-6 cars, whatever it was, that quickly, it wouldn't have been close. But yeah, and then I think Stroll said he was blown up or something. I don't know I think he had engine damage or something from earlier. So that was I figured I was going to have a difficult time trying to get by him, and then I got a run, and he was like, "Oh, I'm blowing up." So I was like, "All right, well," and yeah, I knew with 3 to go or whatever. Right when I got by him, I was like, "I'm going to be a lap short of really getting there." So, but I needed a little bit of a better run off of 2 that last lap, and I think if I at least could have gotten to the quarter panel, I probably would have been able to make the pass. But I didn't want to just absolutely Joey Logano him, but at least it was the last lap this time when I ran into him. And that was the only attempt there was. But I appreciate him being a good sport about it, and at least we still finished 1-2. And I kind of felt bad because I was trying to just shimmy him up a little bit, but he went off. It kind of really pushed him off in there, and he got up in the wall, and I kind of stabbed the brakes a little bit because I kind of felt a little bad about it. So just. I wish I could have gotten the nose ahead there at the start-finish line, but you know what? It's still a good race, and that's I guess that's been the theme, though, with the double headers. I've won the first one and finished second in the second one, but unfortunately this one was a double point, so it stings just, a smidge more. But, yeah, fun night overall. Congrats to Blake. That was a good drive there at the end, and, yeah, it's a fun night for sure.
Yes, it was. That was an absolute blast watching you guys battle that out over the last couple of laps. And thank you very much for putting on a hell of a show for us here. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in again.
Yeah, just same as before. Just shout out to the JT Motorsports guys and, also the TDR guys for their co-op petition, as I guess we'll keep calling it. And Fuel admins for doing what they do. You guys for putting on the broadcast and all the, the sponsors and everybody that's, come on board this year to, cover each of the races and, just make the leagues what it's been. It's been a lot of fun this year. And, I think the best is still yet to come. So just another good night in the books in Fuel.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And now it is time for us to bring in our third place finisher here tonight. And a guy who maybe didn't think he was going to make it to the end of this one. We see the damage on the front of that Domination Intimidation Racing number 8 machine. Fantastic look on the throwback, by the way. But, man, tell us about it. The front end's banged up. The back end's banged up. It looks like you ran a race at Darlington.
It's not usually my forte. I usually try to keep the car clean, but I got run into a pit road from the behind a little bit, and then trying to come up through the field after we pit. I got in the back of Will Roberts after just trying to come back up through the field, and then I was hoping I'd have something for Blake there, but those last 12 laps, that last restart, the water was blinking. So every time I was on the gas, it was just blinking. I was trying to keep pace with him and still bring it home. So once Bresty caught me, I was like, this is over. I had hit the wall before that. But it's a good night. I got 2 top 5s out of the steal. Still looking for my first win of the season. But I racked up a lot of points tonight, trying to keep pace with Thomas and those other guys. And Darlington's going to Darlington. I don't think there's a clean car out there.
No, there are not many, if any, at all. And this really was a pretty monster points night for you. What kind of confidence does that give you looking ahead into the season here? Because you've got to be pretty close to locking yourself in here with what we've seen Thomas do and now Blake getting his second win of the season. With not having having a ton of winners, a lot of guys are going to get in on points. Nights like tonight can kind of seal the deal for you.
Yeah, I think I'm in good shape. I think we got Richmond next week, and then Talladega is the cutoff race. And as far as the rest of the tracks go for the season, we got Richmond in there, Phoenix. I'm pretty confident. I don't know if I just hope I can at least get one win this season. I don't think anybody has anything for Thomas for the championship. He's just on fire this season. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of good tracks coming up. Just keep practicing, keep my head down. Tonight was pretty wild. Not much else to say. Just being consistent. I don't win a lot, but I can point the hell out of you.
Well, I'll tell you what. It was a hell of a show you guys put on tonight, and thank you very much for putting on that show for us. And before we let you go here, get any sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
One announcement is Yingling. They've been my sponsor for 12, 13 years now. My last race with them is going to be at Talladega, which is a Fuel 5 event that I'm eligible for. And then the last 4 races of the season, we're going to bring on our new sponsor, which is going to be AC Delco. I'm making that decision based on my buddy Aaron, who helped me founded this team 20 years ago. He had passed away around Thanksgiving. So actually, the Richmond race next week is in his honor. It's the Aaron Hall 138. So just going to try to keep him alive and run his colors for the rest of my time and give up the beer. So maybe if I quit drinking, maybe I can win some races. Maybe change my luck a little bit.
All right, Mike. Well, very cool. That is an awesome thing to hear, and we're looking forward to seeing the AC Delco colors too, because those were always some absolutely stunning paint schemes. So, thank you much for checking in with us here, Michael. We appreciate it, and man, I'll tell you what, Boomer, that was it was something. We saw a show here at Darlington tonight.
Yeah, it was great to see a little bit of comers and goers, and obviously was very excited to see all that pit strategy play out. And bummer for the 8 that he couldn't hold on as much and give the 13 a run for his money. Obviously a little bit of damage on the front end, but we still saw a great battle with the 13 and the 24. Obviously, maybe the 24 conceding to the 13 after giving him a big bump shove into the corner. But yeah, it's some great sportsmanship all around at the front of the field there. And I mean, what a blast! What a blast to watch a race like this. That was a lot of fun. So unfortunate to report our rookie of the race, Justin Munsell, who finished P4 in our hard charger, Don Runkle, up 13 positions to P12 tonight, will decline to give an interview by virtue of no longer being in the voice chats after being hailed a couple times. So definitely a good race for both of those guys, but unfortunately not interview them tonight. And yeah, I was absolutely thrilled. I think this tonight was just about everything that I wanted it to be, and maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, I really agree with you. We had an absolute blast tonight calling two fantastic races here from the Darlington Raceway. And man, Darlington is awesome. We're going to get to do some really fun stuff here with these guys over the next couple of weeks. Richmond, Talladega, of course. Yes, please, both of those. And Talladega is a cutoff race. How's that for a little bit of pressure here to give yourself one last chance to win and you're in? But with that, it is time for us to get the heck on out of here. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the TNT Series. And I forget where they're going. We'll let you know. It's up in the socials and all. Wednesday night, we have the Sim Racers Club coming back at 8:30 in the East. Thursday night, the triple header is back. It is Outlaws versus Posse Week here in Pennsylvania. Things kick off Wednesday night with a Gettysburg Clash at Lincoln Speedway. And then Friday and Saturday night, pending weather anyway, will be the Morgan Cup races at the Williams Grove Speedway. The greatest show on dirt invades Pennsylvania for the first time this season. Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright will talk all about it Thursday night, 7 p.m. in the East, right here on the High Side Hustle. Follow that up with the Ezra IndyCar Series and then the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. A lot of stuff coming up this week here on the National Racing Network, as always. But have to say a big thank you to everybody who's tuning in tonight. My co-host for the evening, Mr. Boomer Logan, once again, a fantastic job as always. And with that, it is time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Boomer, Bizzle, and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all tomorrow night with the TNT Series. Have a good night, everybody.